Yo,
Just tweeting your little thing out, your link and that. Thanks for having me, my man.
I've been trying to do this for a while. We've been trying to get it done for a second,
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, I've been looking forward to it, man. I love what you do. Speak honestly as well, and I think you always come real with it. And I think that's how we got to be, man.
Trust me.
Today,
No, I appreciate you for coming through, my guy. I appreciate you, man. What'd you make of the game? In fact, I'm being rude, man. Introduce yourself to the people, then plug your stuff, man.
love that, love that. Thank you. So obviously, big up Deluded Gooner for having me on. I'm Tyrone, co-founder of Never a Foul, where you can find us at Never a Foul on all platforms. I also have my own podcast for Man United fans, which is at Trafford Tunnel. So that's Trafford Tunnel, and it's all under Never a Foul. So you can find us there. We do podcasts for Arsenal, Spurs, Man City, United, and general. So yeah, man, love that. Like and subscribe, and keep supporting your boy Deluded Gooner as well.
Come on, people. Someone drop a link to his stuff in the comments, and you look, go subscribe to that, do up that, and support the content, man. I appreciate you for coming through. What'd you make of the game, though, man?
Do you know what? From both sides, like, it's frustration. Like, there's something about me, you know, like when you get angry, yeah. I feel like I just want to punch a pillow because honestly, like, I look at things so fair on a reflection, and I feel like both teams were kind of scared not to lose. But I feel like both teams didn't go into that gear 5. The game was there for either side. When I look at Arsenal today, I think that we had the better chances in terms of Cavani's like balls in the 6-yard box, like they were like clear on goal. But on the other hand, when Arsenal were transitioning from defense into the attack, every time he went forward, I was thinking they could do something here. So I think there were small errors in both sides. You not getting the final pass right, and then us not actually taking the 2 or 3 clear-cut chances we had. And in big games, I think small margins determine that.
Facts, bro. This is everything I've been waffling on about for the last 47 minutes. I can't add anything. I think you lot probably should have wrapped up the game in the first half with, you had a number of corners and whatnot. Second half, between Lacazette hitting the post, obviously Pepe went close, and I think Smith Rowe, we should have wrapped it up. I agree with what you said, man, in both teams being shook to get a point. Well, I mean, to get anything more than a point, because it's an L if you lose this. And I think, especially as long as the game went on, it appeared that both players would say, do you know what, we'll live to fight another day. For you lot, apparently you lot are challenging for the league title. It doesn't help you lot. For us, it don't help us get top 4. But I'm not going to complain, people really and truly, Carl. We're missing hella players. I do think we should have won it. I do think, when you look in the second half, we could have nicked it. So I agree with what you said, but I just feel both teams would have taken a point. And I think that was kind of transcended within the performance, personally.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. And I don't, because it's a funny one. I'm an honest United fan. I don't ever think we were in the title race in terms of winning it. I think, that's my boy Naren. Big up, man. Big up Naren from the
Big up him, man.
Yeah, love that, man. I feel like these 2 games, I said it on Never a Foul last week, we were where we are because we've been winning 2-1, 1-0. It's been grinding out games. Man United don't blow teams away 4 or 5-0. We don't actually play that well. I think you saw it today. We play well in spells. So I think in 10 or 15 minutes of the first half, we played well. And then it was like a spell 75 to probably 90 minutes. So we sort of went into a bit more of a further gear. But other than that, there was a moment where the stats come up and we had 0% of the ball in your action area.
I say second half, bro. First 10 minutes of that second half, that's thinking, what's happened to United? You, man, went cold. It seemed like we were on this. We had like 83% of the ball.
Exactly. And to me, if you're challenging for the title or wanting to win trophies, the game against Sheffield United, you should not be losing. But then what I want to see is a reaction. And today, did I really get that reaction? I didn't. I see the full-time whistle go. I see Bruno like waving his hands up in the air. But I thought, you just had 90 minutes to really try and do something if you did. Don't wave your hands up in the air when it's the full-time.
Take responsibility, innit?
Yeah, take responsibility. And I just think we lacked a bit of just balls to go for it. We got an injury in the first half, McTominay. And
what was that about? Because I did a live stream. I can't watch it with the commentary. Yeah. It looked like he hurt his elbow or something. I don't know.
Stomach cramps. So he just had a stitch like he wanted to. Basically, I'm not gonna lie, he probably wanted to take a number.
Yeah. He needed to go handle his business. Yeah.
Yeah, drop the kids off, man. So he come off, and then I actually thought with the change. Yeah, like it was the right change. He brought Martial on to get some width and brought Pogba into the middle of the park. So I don't think you were causing us too many problems. And then the second half, like you said, we went flat. You were on the upper hand. Lacazette hit the bar. Smith Rowe had a good chance. But then as the game drew on, like you said, you summed it up perfectly. It was like both teams were just like, this is going to be 0-0. But I looked at Luke Shaw's comments, and I do want to just say this. And
I think he played well today, to be fair, with Luke Shaw, especially early on.
Yeah, he did. He's in good form. But he just said, at times, this is what hurts me. He just goes, at times, it looked like we couldn't be bothered to play today.
He said that with his own mouth.
That's a big statement to make.
You're gassing. He never said that with his own mouth.
I swear, he goes, it looked like we couldn't bother to play today, or like we were just too slow today, like we weren't there. And like you're Man United, and you're 3 points off the top with Man City, and
you don't hear that,
and that's your motivation. Like, can I ask you?
Go on.
You haven't won. I mean, you haven't lost in 2021 in the league. You were out Saka today, Aubameyang. Gabriel, obviously, he played really well against us at Old Trafford when we had Greenwood and Rashford up front. Sorry. Do you think that's a good point for you? Like, would you have taken that before the game?
Yeah, like I would have taken it because I was mad nervous about this game anyways. And I know like people can say, oh, the way Arsenal have historically been, you know, the way results may have been flattering United, you could say a point isn't good enough. But against top 6 teams, of course, it doesn't do too much for whatever team's ambitions are. But I always think about living to fight another day. Of course, it all depends on how the game's gone. But I think it was calm, especially now that I found out going into that game we're missing players. I don't really have sympathy for missing players per se, because as much as I think, you know, it clearly is going to make a difference. Injuries are part and parcel of the game. There's 38 Premier League games alone. So I'll say I'll take the point. Obviously, I'm always going to think, you're going to think about the Cavani chances. I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, Pepe, Laka, all of this sort of stuff. But I was thinking it. I agree with what you said, though, about similar to what you said about the Shaw thing. We did look a bit flat. Like I felt initially, I think our best period, apart from the second half, was probably the 10-minute stage between minute 30 to 40. Prior to that, I think we was too slow. I think you man had too much possession. I felt from an Arsenal perspective, we're chasing shadows. We're a bit lethargic. I felt it's a bit interesting you saying Shaw said that, because I think we was moving a bit timid. And that's where I was looking at it like, play the occasion, not the team. Like, don't sit there and think, oh, United, they're second in the table. And I guess from you, you're thinking United are in form. Arsenal are in form. Don't get scared. It's play
the team, not the occasion. And both teams were there, fragile, man. There was like, I don't know, like, even with Maguire today, like when Lacazette was like twisting and turning him and Pepe was running him, there was something about you lot that made me nervous every time you attacked. And like you said, you were nervous going.
I thought about you, bro, but go on.
But when you see the team news before the game, I said to you, I messaged you 2 days ago, and I was like, you know, we're playing you at the wrong time. You're playing at the wrong time.
Yeah, you did.
I did. And when I saw the lineups, I thought, actually, do you know what? Like Luiz and Holding at centre back. I know Holding's holding it down, but
generally, innit? Yeah.
You're not playing the top centre backs, and you got Cedric, who's naturally a right back, playing at left back, got booked inside 20 minutes. Listen, Marcus. Question. Are you gonna ask me about Rashford?
Yeah. Fam, because I thought he was dangerous, bro. He's made
my hairline go, bro.
This guy. But yeah, no, bro. You see with Rashford, I think initially he looked good making them runs, and it's like he just went brainless. Like his decision making today, like I was kind of vexed as just a fan of football. So let alone Man United fan, that's your guy. I know people say, but he's playing on the right and all this stuff. I get it, but that doesn't change anything in terms of your decision making. So like, what is it in terms of a United fan in terms of your performances? Because I think Pogba was decent. I think Shaw did his thing. I think Wan-Bissaka held it down. I think Bruno was just on the floor. He weren't really in it today, really. And I think Rashford was off the pace. So what was it? What's the thinking or segment for your fans and who played well and who did this and the rest of it?
I think you summed up perfectly. I think Wan-Bissaka actually had quite a good game today. I know we got booked for the challenge on Willian, but I think he actually got the ball, and every time he tried going into the midfield and going out wide and like bombing on. Bruno, the stats sort of. I'm not a stat man, to be fair. I like watching football.
The eye thing, man. It's the eyes test.
Yeah, I'm not really a stat man. I know he's got one goal against Spurs in the top 6, and he got an assist, but he's not done really well against the top 6 in general. Our form against the top 6, we've drawn 2, lost 4. I just think there's a few things. So first of all, when you said Rashford, I'm going to tell you now, I put a tweet out there, and I know it's got quite a few likes in that. He dropped a 2 out of 10 today, and that's me being generous, deluded, honestly. There's something about him, right? And I'm a big Martial fan, but they're both so similar that I think that they're really good players, and they're not consistent enough. There was a moment, and you'll probably remember it. Rashford got the ball in about the 10th minute, 1-on-1 with Xhaka, yeah? Xhaka puts his hand in his face and he goes down on the floor. But to me, from that moment, Rashford wanted none of Arsenal today, because you're running at Xhaka, you kick the ball past him and run. There was another moment where then he got the ball from Cavani on a 1-2 and he kicked it into Cedric. And I thought, if he kicks it past me, through and goal. And like, I just think that there's a lot of body language with Rashford. Like, he just looks like he weren't interested. He didn't want it today. And it disappoints me because he's got 14 goals this season, but hasn't played that well. But then when you know what he can do, it's just frustrating, man, because you're just like, you want to grab him by the face and just say,
come on, man, you're better than this.
You can do this. Like Pogba today, I don't think he was influential on the left at all, by the way, in that first half.
That's so crazy you said that, because I felt initially, you know, he was scaring me. I think him and Shaw were linking up together. There was a lot of runs being made off them. But, God, and it's interesting you saying that, though.
Yeah, I just think, do you want me to give you, I'll be honest, I think he's got
man, we've got time for this, bro.
Yeah, I think he's having nightmares about Bellerin giving away the penalty in the last game. I just think he was so focused on not allowing Arsenal to break coming the other way. He didn't really feel so sure about himself in the forward. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, Arsenal, the key to the game was, and it actually nearly worked out perfectly. Before the game, I said, this game won't be decided on individual brilliance or like who can keep the ball. It was going to be determined on who can win on the press in the most dangerous areas. Because every time Arsenal try and play out the back, we were trying to press. And we pinched it a few times. Every time we had the ball, you lot were trying to press us and you pinched it a few times. But no one really like took the most of it.
Really took the game and whatnot.
Yeah. And I just think, was the draw a fair result? Yes and no, because you feel like you should have won the game. And I also feel like we should have won the game. But I think from this, I think this has quite a big knock-on effects negatively for our season, if I'm honest. If you want to I just think you lose to Sheffield United, you come to Arsenal, and the chances we've had and the way Ollie and Shaw spoke, they're disappointed, man. These men feel like they should have won the game. And we've got Southampton, who are good side. They've got
we just come off playing them still,
they're a good side. You done
at home or away?
We got them at home, but it doesn't really matter because all our defeats have come at home.
That's where they. That's another reason why I was shook of you lot today. I was like, you man are on it away from home, and I thought you lot, considering we beat you lot, and really we kind of flattered ourselves winning. I thought you man would have had a bit more grit about you lot, to be fair in that regards. But go on.
And it's like Southampton and Everton are our next two games, and I just feel like even though Everton lost today to Newcastle, them type of games they're like, you don't look at them and say 3 points. Danny Ings, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, like Ward-Prowse, anything can happen. And I feel like if we don't beat Southampton and then we go into the Everton game and don't get a result from
Everton after that.
Yeah, there you go. And this is football. And I'm not trying to be reactionary, but you've been doing this thing for a long time. You know how it changes. You could be top of the league 1 minute, and then we could come to the end of next week and I could message you and saying, look what happened. We haven't won them next 2 games. That means Man United, it will be on the headlines. Man United don't win in 4 games. The pressure is a different ball game then. And we've seen, and I'm going to come back to you in a sec, but obviously we've seen that we've got to semi-finals and we've not won. So have the players really got it in them when the pressure gets going? We haven't seen that yet. And that's the thing. I want to ask you,
go on.
When you're doing your live stream, do you get to watch parts of the game? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like you're watching the whole thing anyway, aren't you? When you're
yeah.
With the Fernandes thing early in the first half, did you see him have a little stamp?
I thought that was something more in it, because I thought initially my player was being a bit weak, and then I thought, what on Xhaka, right? I was thinking, boy, that could be a bit more of a meal of it. I think he didn't make more of a meal of it from an Arsenal perspective. Who do you think, for me as a United fan, who kind of stood out from an Arsenal perspective?
Good. Do you know what? That's a good question. You know, wow. Do you know what? I'm actually gonna say Smith Rowe, even though he didn't actually really get a goal. He didn't get a goal or assist, which I know not a number 10s are there for. But I felt when he got the chances to get into them pockets, his acceleration to get past Fred and them lot, he done it every single time, which is all you can ask of him. And also, when he got into the final third, did he pick the right pass? Yes, he did. So for me, did he do his job when he needed to? Yeah. Other than that, everyone for Arsenal was just dropping their 7 out of 10s. Holding was solid, and so Partey was just there, sort of this and that. And Luiz played well, but for me, I thought every time Arsenal got the ball in that final third, like Smith Rowe was just looking a bit bright, and he doesn't give the ball away. And I thought, do you know what? Credit to him, man. Especially I think there was a part where he got away from Fred and then played in Pepe, done a few step overs, and he hit the shot wide. But yeah, man. Like that little burst of speed in that number 10, like in a big game like that, he done what he needed to do when he was in the pockets.
Where do you think you go from here? Well, for me, for United or Arsenal?
For United.
I think Shaw actually played quite decent against us. Like Shaw from minute one, probably a bit more so in the first half. I think Wan-Bissaka did all right within the context of what he can bring. I think Maguire actually tried a thing. Like I think he was trying to play out from. It's not that he played well, but it's like just watching it. Like for me, I was looking at Maguire. I think I was looking at your high line in it. I was thinking, you lot don't rate us because there's no Aubameyang. You're playing high line. Your fullbacks are gone in it. So that means, as you know, that means you back yourself in a foot race. Like they were backing themselves, and I think Maguire was doing all right. Like he was just getting a little touch on things. Really, I think Pogba was okay. Now that I look at it, you are quite struggling. I'd say Shaw's the one for me, really, off the top of my head, because I think, obviously, I'm a fullback as well, so I'm a biased one, but I feel...
left or right foot?
Right still, but I was playing left back. I was being shoehorned, man. It is what it is, fam. Where do you lot move from there? In fact, you asked me another question. From Arsenal, I agree with you. Smith Rowe pockets. I think Luiz and Holding couldn't have asked them anything more. I think I've been harsh on Pepe. I want to respect Pepe's thing today. Man of the match, though, probably between the centre halves for me, just because there was bare heart and mouth moments and they were doing what they needed to do. But I don't really think it's a man of the match thing. I think it's just a game for the collective still. Yeah.
And I hear you. And you even said to me there with your question, where do we Oh, I love that. Best side. Thank you, Nobby, man. We will just try and be honest, man. Thank you for Deluded, getting me on. And we're obviously, I'm at Never a Foul as well. Martin threw that comment now and there. Actually didn't do enough today. He got subbed. What did you say to me there? Did you just ask me where do we go from here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
To be honest, and this is me even asking you and saying it at the same time. If we got to August before the start of the season and someone said to me, okay, at the end of the last week of January, you'll be top of the table, I would have bit man's hand off for that, because no one put United in that sort of conversation. People were saying, would they get top four? Like it was, So for me, like I don't want to be too reactionary because we are second still. Like we've got a lot of positives and negatives at the moment. When you look at Chelsea, and look at Liverpool and other teams, just a bit down there, Spurs not finding their best form. So we're second. We're still in the FA Cup. We're in the Europa League. I just think it sounds so cliche, but we've got to go game by game. But also just see that positive of, right, you guys, we're second in the table when no one thought we ever would be there. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the Europa League. I want a trophy. in top four. Oh, yes, Suits, man. He does all my creative stuff.
Shout out to him.
Love that, man. Love that, Suits. I think I'll take a trophy and top four, because are we good enough to win the league? No, we're not. You look at teams like Man City, they're getting 9 out of 10 clean sheets with Diaz and Stones. And actually, I just had a chat with Mark. I think you know him. You know Safo?
Yeah. Shout out my guy, Mark, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark, man. But I was just saying to him, like, in terms of trophies and winning the league, I only see Man City winning it. And the bottom line is, look at Tony Adams and the Arsenals and Man United with Vidic, Fernandes, Chelsea, Carvalho, Terry.
Essential, innit?
Yeah. At the end of the day, the players that can see the whole pitch are the defenders. And if you have two solid central defenders in there playing week in, week out, like Stones and Diaz are doing at the moment, and they're scoring goals, they win the league. So at the moment, I just think it's a top four tussle with Leicester, United, Liverpool, Spurs. I don't think Arsenal are out of it. It's like, but if Deluded, do you think about it? Other than Man City, who's putting 5?
Bro, do you know what it is? Bro, I hear you, yeah. Listen, when you look at the league, when you look at the context, all of that it makes sense in it. I'm not ruling it out. I don't want to sound like a negative nanny. It's just for me, with my heart, to say Arsenal are in that. I can't, because for me, I'm big on accountability in it. I don't really care who's got better players, who's got whatever. If you maximize what you can do and show some consistency, you can kind of do within reason, anything. So it's doable, but at the same time, I know we're going to let ourselves down. I want to be wrong. I don't want to be negative, but I know we're going to let ourselves down. And even when I scrutinize Arsenal, don't get it twisted. I'm happy we're not losing games. I'm happy we didn't lose today. But am I praising this team for doing things what is standard for a team to get top four? Or am I looking at previously what we've been doing? And I think it's the latter. You know, we've been on the Wolves, the Aston Villas, all these games we lost. Now that we're putting in runs, like even when we was beating, I take nothing away from the Chelsea game. That's solid. But beating West Brom, Brighton and Newcastle, take nothing away from that. But if you want top four, you got to get that in it. Like it's standard. So I'm not too sure, and I do think there's a bit of a blip that could happen. I'm not naive. We are going to drop more points. We've done that against Palace, and technically, I know it's a point. I think it's a point game, but if we look at it, we've dropped 2 points today. These things add up, and we've still got to play. Like we're going into a tough run. It's a thing. trust me, bro. It's a thing where these players need to show me if they want to get it. Like like today, I was nervous. They showed me that they were on something, so they calmed me down. We're going into a tough run of games now. Like you've got out of the Southampton one. You ain't won today, but you ain't lost. And now you've got what? I think we've got Wolves midweek.
Yeah.
Could be Leeds. I know there's Leicester to come. I know we've got the Benfica one sandwiched in between Man City. Yeah, so it's like, if you man want this thing, look at the fixture list and make sure you stand up to be carried. Because today, we could have lost today and man could sit here and go, oh, no, there was no Tierney, there was no Saka, there was no this, there was no that. And I would hear it. There'd be logic. But at the end of the day, you got to still get through with it. We all know how difficult it is getting one injury. Look at Liverpool and City last year. But it's about the depth for me and it's about the consistency. Even that David Luiz, quality today, last game against Southampton, moving Buki. What Luiz am I getting Luiz am I getting on midweek? So I'm not sure, bro. I think we'll let ourselves down, fam.
I got a question for you when it comes to your forward, because I was a fan of Pepe when he arrived. I know he gets a lot of slate and criticism from your fans, and I thought he was bright today. I think he's one of your bright sparks. He's getting a bit of confidence back. You've got Aubameyang, Saka, Martinelli, Pepe, Lacazette. When they're all firing, who do you actually go as your front three? Because for me, I'm funny with Aubameyang outside on the left, because I think when he's not scoring, what is he actually really bringing to the table? Yeah, what would be your actual favoured front three?
It's a difficult one. It kind of depends, not to get too technical, but it depends over the game. It really depends on the games. My biases are always Aubameyang through the middle. I know we can get into a debate about what Lacazette does and what Aubameyang, but my direct bias would be Aubameyang through the middle, probably Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, or Saka moving over to the left and trying to bring in Pepe if this form thing continues. Like they're the three or odd players, my things being central along. But then it gets complicated because Lacazette isn't a great goal scorer, but some of the qualities he brings, like you saw today, he weren't amazing, but he can relieve a bit of pressure for you with winning these fouls, with kind of pressing. So it's a difficult one, but I'm a bias towards pace. I like pace in it. I like interchanging movements. So it'd probably be a three of Aubameyang, Saka, Martinelli on either flanks, with Saka probably on the right, Martinelli on the left. Or and then I'm probably looking at bringing in Pepe to some degree. But I'd probably say, like my man said, these three really.
Yeah, Martin. And I don't think Martinelli free to be fair. I think Saka is better on the right when I like him coming inside. It's a weird thing as well, because you think how obviously you're probably in your mid-20s, you sound like me, or early 20s, but when we were like watching football growing up, obviously it was more traditional wingers where like Giggs was a left footed, so he's on the left wing. Now it's like opposites, and they sort of cutting on left and right. In terms of today's game, if there was something different you could have done in terms of maybe tactical or even formation, when you look at it, obviously it's a 0-0. Would there have been anything you would have changed?
Tough question. From an Arsenal perspective, I don't think so, I don't think there's nothing we could have done, really and truly. It's like, if I look at there's options on the bench, it's like, for who? Maybe out of force. If you force me, maybe start Odegaard, but I don't believe that because he's just joined the club. I don't know how long he's had to train and all of that. I think it's just down to our chances. I feel I couldn't have asked anything tactically more. I would have started Gabriel. I can't really comment on that because we've got away with it.
Yeah.
The tough one, probably that. Maybe, just maybe, Maitland-Niles instead of Bellerin, or brought Maitland-Niles on instead of Bellerin when in the second half when it looked like we could get something. He's a bit better going forward, but I think that one there is reaching. What about yourself?
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because I thought it's a challenge, because I know I was thinking in my head as an Arsenal fan, what would you answer? That's why I thought I'll ask you it. It's harder. And even for us, like the change, like you said, which was enforced with McTominay going off and bringing Pogba into middle and Martial wide, like that's the change I probably wanted, to be fair. That game, because there was times in the second half where we had you kind of camped in. I'm not going to say we had you under pressure. Yeah.
No, there was periods throughout the whole game where that was kind of there.
Yeah. It's not like we had you under pressure. It was like United are going to score in the next 5 minutes. But we had maintained possession for spells. And I think we needed someone in them pockets that was like a Van der Beek. And I know I've been one of them ones where a lot of people have been saying, start him. No, we don't. By the way, Man United fans, no, we don't need to start him, because when you're top of the table, you need consistency. You can't just throw a new signing in there and expect that he's going to drop an 8 out of 10. He will find his way into the side. If we were losing games, drawing games, then winning games, we have a reason to rotate. But Van der Beek couldn't have played, and today definitely couldn't have started. But when it got to the 70th minute and we did kind of have you camped, when you've got someone like Bruno and Pogba who are not really unlocking it, maybe just someone with that bit of intelligence or a third man,
make that run.
bit of run just off the ball. Is that there you go? The run off the ball, like that. Them Dutchmen, like you seen him when he was at Ajax. Like when they had the ball, like he could just make a run off the back of Bellerin or Cedric and just create a bit of space. And I just feel like even one matter, maybe if not Van de Beek, maybe one matter, just someone who could maybe just unlock something that could give us that chance. Because, like I said, when we got to the 80th minute and I felt like we were getting a bit more on top as the game wore on, did I feel like we were going to score? No. And as a Man United fan,
I thought you man were going to, bro. But obviously, I'm obviously going to say that. I thought you were.
You thought we weren't. As a Man United fan, like, when you're sitting there and you're a bit like, like crunching your toes, it's just frustrating, man. Like, to me, 2 points dropped.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that based on it, because again, if I'm looking at it from a United perspective, you know, I remember the game in the FA Cup against Liverpool where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer post game, he was quite vocal about he wanted us to have a go. Well, I say us, wanted you lot to have more of a go and things like that. So I thought coming into this game, logically, there's some parallels to learn, and you're going against an Arsenal team where we not to keep banging the drum, but missing several players. Yeah. So I think there was more of a goal to be had. Somebody said, honest opinion, do you think we look better without Aubameyang? Well, we're winning games. It's always going to be said. Me, I like good problems in it. In an ideal world, there shouldn't be a key front three. We should be saying, you've got to play Laka. No, you've got to play Aubameyang through the middle. What happens to Lacazette? Drop him in the 10. No, Smith Rowe's there. You can't play Smith Rowe. Where's Pepe? We need these problems, you know. How many strikers? Obviously, it was probably different, but you're a United fan. There was plenty of times when it was 4-4-2 days, you would see hella strikers there. You know? It's a squad game. And like you saw, man are missing out. And I think Arsenal, our first job is to find a proper 11 in it that I feel is certain to get top 4. But then people need to understand depth. And I don't think Arsenal fans understand depth, because obviously you get the extreme ones. I'm not speaking for all of them, but there was one who once was fighting with me on a live because I'm saying, he was saying, bro, man said you don't bring in Aouar, there's Smith Rowe there. It doesn't make sense. You know, what happens when Smith Rowe isn't at it? And not to say they're the same player even. It's a squad game. You know, some games Lacazette might be the man and Mbappé might be the man. You need problems. The only one I feel isn't providing good problems is Willian, but I don't want to make it about him. I could sit here and say we look better without Aubameyang, but if he starts scoring goals again, you know, I think it's disrespectful. Obviously, I only care about what you're doing today, but I think the best team has Aubameyang in, really and truly. Somebody wants to hear your thoughts still. Well, you got a couple questions. Man is saying, I want to hear your thoughts on Tony Martial. Obviously, you got the pillow in the back.
I know. I thought he's hiding there in the background, man. Good. And do you know what? Fair. Just quickly round up on your point. I agree with you from an Arsenal perspective. You need good depth, man, and people playing well is a good problem to have, because at the end of the day, that makes everyone fight for their place.
Fact.
So, love that. Martial, he's just. Do you know what? There's a real player in there, man. He's my favourite player for United, so I think I'll be the last one to throw him under. But it's funny because when he signed, he played for Van Gaal, played up front. He got 17 goals playing as a striker. Mourinho then comes in and he has the Ibra issue where
he's going to leave under Mourinho. But go ahead.
Yeah, I hate Mourinho, man. And he takes his shirt off him, which I'm not going to say is the worst thing in the world, but yes, he takes his shirt number of him, gives it to Ibra, and then he puts him out on the left wing. And then they have sort of a bit of a hit and miss relationship. And then Mourinho goes before Martial and Pogba went, which is what Mourinho wanted to do in the end. He then gets Oli comes in and says to him, do you know what? And a bit like the Luke Shaw conundrum, and I love this, and this is what I do praise Oli for. His man management is A1. This is his best skill. Yeah. Because Martial, come in the office. I believe in you. I know you can do this. I'm going to give you a number 9 shirt back. Last season, after lockdown, everyone saw it. Martial was in the top 5 strikers in the league. I think he was the 3rd top scorer if you take away the pens from people like Vardy and all them, man. So he scored 23 goals last season. So I was confident going into this year. I'm not going to lie. I thought he's got his number 9. He's had a season now, bedded in as a striker, kick on. And he just hasn't. But, like, he's on, if you look at our top goal scorers, Rashford's on 14. Fernandes on 15, and it's a significant drop straight down to Martial and Cavani, who have both got 5. And to me, for a club like Man United, that's a big drop off. Like when you go from 15 to 14 down to 5, it's not just a Martial problem or a Cavani problem. There's a problem. There's a problem in terms of creativity. And when you watch us, how many clear-cut chances are Manchester United getting in their games? I could not give you more than 3 or 4.
It's a handful. We're focusing on today the Cavani one, for instance. Like the Cavani one.
like clear-cut chances. I said to you, we had 2, which were the Cavani ones, but that's 90 minutes. So think about it, that's like 180. 90 minutes, 245 minutes, 1 chance each half. You could say mathematically.
It's dead. Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah. So for me, it's not Martial. Yes, he's got to pick himself up. I believe he will come good because he's got 17 goals, 23 goals as a striker before for Oli, and Oli believes in him. His quotes the other day saying that he's just go through droughts. I did as players and so forth. So he'll come back. But I just think it's not a Martial and Cavani problem. It's a creativity problem. And I don't think we're creating enough chances for these scorers to score goals. Simple as that.
Facts.
Yeah, that's my. People might disagree with me and say, "Oh, Martial needs to be sold, this and that." But I think on his day, he's brilliant, man. His hold-up play, his finishing, he's cool, he's composed. Sometimes he's languid, and I think if with Martial, something that
he's got the whole thing about him. It's like they're not shouting and screaming how much it means to them. They're a bit,
language, because he's so languid. Like he's not like Rashford, even if he's playing badly, but he's trying to like run around still and press and get the ball. But because Martial's so like languid, he's a bit like Ozil. Like when he's not having a good game, it looks even worse because them
like don't care to they're
not running 12 kilometers a game. It's just because they're languid. So I think it makes them easy to be a scapegoat. Question from Suits there for you. Yeah, do you think Arsenal have good squad depth?
No. Yeah, ironically, just in terms of the bodies, probably in an attacking sense, like I'm not really fussed about our wingers. I would like other wingers to come in. Clearly, Pepe is hit and miss. You know, the only one I'm really concerned about is Willian. So I think we've got it in wide positions, even if we force an Aubameyang into that based on historically how he's playing. But no, I don't think we have good squad depth because, you know, we're all saying, it's great now. For instance, Tierney weren't here. We still did a thing. But against Crystal Palace, what was we saying? Tierney's not involved. We couldn't create. And on one hand, I get it. I agree. Tierney's central. But to the other hand, you know, if a team that's trying to get top 4, that's dropped points, we shouldn't be talking about your left back weren't there, so you couldn't create. That either tells you how poor they are, or that tells you midfielders are not doing something, or tactically we're not doing something. I don't think we have. Where
would you want? Yeah, if you could say that you go into the summer. And Arsenal, and I'm being realistic here. Everyone can say, I want a left back, I want a goalkeeper. Arsenal, they probably get 2 or 3 signings max a summer.
Midfield.
So you go midfield.
Midfield, first and foremost, probably need 2 central midfielders because if Partey's not there, we're back to... I know he wasn't that good today, but if typically he's our best guy, I don't think there's a partner for him of his level. At best, it's pick your poison. Like, you know, Xhaka hasn't been bad of late, but you never know what Xhaka's turning up. Ceballos isn't our player, so he's not relevant. Joe Willock is not levels right now. El Nene had a bit of form showing his level, so we need a partner. Equally, Partey's had injury problems. If he's not there, back to square one. So a centre midfielder or 2. I know Cedric played well at left back today, and he's played well at left back twice. But between him, Maitland-Niles, and Bellerin, someone needs to lock down that right back spot, or that's an area for me. Yeah. Maybe I'll push centre half because I would like Saliba to come back and get moments, but maybe for a 19-year-old, 20-year-old to play week in, week out, I'm being a bit naive. I like what Marie's brought in. I'm not really sure of his true level because he's only played a handful of times. So maybe
him and Gabriel, your 2 left-footed centre-backs, innit?
Yeah. They're the only partnership that ain't really been tried out. So I'd say midfield, because midfield is defense is crucial, you know, but midfield is a big part as to how you defend. And I feel, you know, our midfield don't say anything. You ain't really got dynamic man that can run forever. You ain't got guys that are box to box and will score. You ain't got number 6s. And that's a big part in the game. And like you saw, if a couple of players aren't involved, like even Xhaka, I don't think Xhaka is the most amazing player. And I'm not even saying this to sing his praises, but if he isn't there, you do see some we beat you lot without him, but last game. But it's like when he's not involved, you do see why he's being dropped off. Now, that's the problem because what Xhaka tries to do, you need someone that can do it to a greater extent. As you see the last couple of times, he's one of the best midfielders in the world when he's got no time, when he's got 100% time, he's not being pressed and things. He's the worst on the other way. So, no, I don't think Arsenal have good squad depth, but, you know, with the clear-outs that are allegedly happening, I don't think we're going to get there overnight, but hopefully. But saying that, what's the point clearing your books if you're going to go and bring Willian in? Like, I know Cedric is in now, but still, you could look at Cedric, Willian, Marie, all of these signings and say, what's going on sort of thing, you know? Cedric and Marie have kind of patterned up, but Willian is an elephant in the room, really and truly. Like, we heard Premier League proven, we heard ready to hit the ground running. He looks like the 19-year-old Saka. Saka looks like the 32-year-old that's been playing in the Premier League. It's crazy.
I don't know why he signed Willian, for me, to be honest. I've never really been excited by him. I just think he plays in spells. Like 1 in 7 games, he could stand out. and that's sort of
I'm
like
still waiting for that one game.
Yeah,
the Fulham really.
I mean, they haven't repeated it since. I think people just live off them sort of like bubbles of what he can do 1 in 7 games rather than looking at the whole consistent period. And I think the good thing for you on the positive for Willian is that at least you, man, have found it out early rather than Chelsea where he was sort of hit and miss but still getting in the side. Whereas you lot
he must have been better than that at Chelsea, because what I thought when we signed Willian, bro, is that he ain't gonna score, he ain't gonna assist, he's gonna frustrate me. Like I thought, like today, for example, like let's just say he's playing against Luke Shaw, he beats Luke Shaw 10 times, and his final ball for 9 of those were poor, and 1 was decent, it didn't score.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna see that worst comes to us. I said, all right, cool, you know, we've got Europa League, you got this and that. I don't condone this, but it could be a lot worse. I didn't think we was gonna see him this poor, and I think that's where we've got to look at as an Arsenal fan base, because it's almost like when we don't clock players are declining. It's like with Ozil again, it's a bit different, but last 2-3 years he's clearly not that Mesut Ozil. Aubameyang, I don't want to say he's declining, but you naturally have to consider it. And if you know even people think declining just means you're a bad player. It means you're not being able to do things you used to. How are we tailoring it to him?
These men are human, and he's getting 32 next year.
This is it, yeah. And you've got stuff like that. And then you've got a 32-year-old Willian where, yeah, his injury record and all these things are great, but you must have to consider he's declining. So when you've got a player who isn't good enough, declining anyways, and what shags it is now he's missing his confidence, any sort of confidence. Like you can see in his face, he don't believe in himself. It's a dead cocktail. You don't want to drink that. Like it's a problem. And now he's got a 3-year deal. No one's taking him. Even if you offer him for free, no one's taking Donny. Like you have to beg an MLS club to do something.
Big wages as well, I'm guessing as well. I think that has a knock-on effect, especially with future signings coming in who are going to feel like, oh, I love that. Thank you, man, people.
Big up Broad TV as well.
Yeah, love that. And I think the problem for you may be going forward. Hopefully it won't be, because you've got a lot of young players, but you don't want to be signing players and they're like, oh, well, Willian's on this and he... Do you know what I mean?
That is going to happen. Bro, I can't lie. I'm Saka. You got to give me 100 bags soon.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on?
Is that real talk? You got people performing, and Willian set the precedent at the end of the day for these players to then set these demands because they are completely outperforming him. For you, you signed Willian and you started this season. I don't know where you are at the moment. I think maybe 8th. Is that right? I haven't looked at the table.
I've got no interest in the league table, bro.
Let's forget the league table for now. But what were your expectations coming into the season? Even now, like base it off the start and base it off how you're feeling now as well.
Now it's more of the now. I just want an improvement on that last year. You know, you're in a title challenge. I'm looking at, for me, I'm about mentality. If you lot are saying you want top 4, right? You've clawed yourself back from the mad thing. You was moving mad. You've clawed yourself back from that. Now in an absolutely great position mathematically. Go and see that through to the end. So if that's really your goal, I need to see when you're going into United, you know, okay, we need to win this, or if we lose, we're going to be here, and so on and so forth. Come the last season, obviously we're coming off the back of the FA Cup, and I did think that was a bit of a false image, but I just wanted to see us improve defensively, which we have, see a bit of what our team DNA is about, which of late we have seen. Historically this season, I ain't really seen our fluidity, and ultimately the goal is to get into the top 4, at least put more of a fight. Like I wanted to be at this period of time in the conversation, at least.
Yeah, a lot of people thought after the FA Cup win last year, including myself, that I thought you'd be bang.
False image, bro. False image. I think that created a lot of complacency, and it kind of signaled what Arsenal is about, and that you can be at it for moments. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're not. A lot of these players in my team, you know, David Luiz was cold today, Pepe was cold today, Cedric was good today, Bellerin was okay, but these men are hot and cold. They can be great one week.
You could go to Wolves next week and pose.
This is what I'm saying. There's only a couple man in that side that I believe, like Partey, you know, he was poor today. He's 9 times out of 10. I'm seeing consistency. So I'm not too sure what they can do. In terms of me, what I wanted to see in the summer was simply, you know, or coming into this, more of a fight for the top 4. That's the end goal. That's the minimum, innit? So logically, that's a top 6 or so finish, which we failed in. It's like, I feel like you lot, how you lot have found yourself, what you were saying about the Premier League, how you found yourself just in this somewhat race. Well, that's how we are in the top 4, and it's the league's calam. Like, you found it, go and see it, because if we look back in May, similar to you lot with the league title, Liverpool, You haven't not got your goal because you know other teams were mad clear of you. You've got it because you fucked up in whatever games or whatever series. That's why I'll be vexed if we don't get top 4.
It's no consistency. This is the thing.
Right,
Like
that's it, yeah,
you have not played that well this season. Let's be honest. The points are not looking good, but the fact that when you're like 4 or 5 points or 6 points off top 4, there's no consistency. There's no team stringing 5 wins together. You've got Leicester up there. You've got West Ham flying. Let's not even forget West Ham.
David, your former gaffer flying.
Listen, we got Thomas Suchek playing like he's been in the league 10 years, man.
I need to get him in my fantasy league, man.
Yeah, I've got him.
See, look, you're moving serious.
Yeah, I got Sterling. I had Sterling captain today and Pep Roulette just for, you know what?
I had Cancelo. He acted. This is why I don't like City players in my team, because Pep, you can't second guess him.
It stresses me out. But I think that gives you hope. If I'm honest, looking at it from a neutral, Man United are there. And like we're gonna, I think we'll finish top 4. But you look at the teams below, Liverpool will probably get in top 4. Let's be honest. And there's one spot up for grabs. Spurs are not really scoring goals. Kane and Son they rely on. Chelsea, new manager syndrome. We don't know how it's gonna go. Arsenal, you've got a manager. You've got some players that can click in, but like you said, it's inconsistency. And then you've got Leicester, who are a good team, and I think they kind of get away with it because they're not having that much pressure. But the fact no one is putting these 5, 6, 7 game winning streaks, it's giving you hope until game 38.
That's all I want. At the very minimum, just challenge until the end, innit? Just try and minimize the stupid points you drop, the Palaces, the Wolves, the Villas, and just finish as strong as you got. Because truthfully, in my heart, I don't think you can get top 4, but I'm a fan. If you and your manager have a collective goal, see that through to the end. I'm open to being proven wrong, but I just look at, I'm not a man who necessarily looks at all the external factors. I look at myself or the players. And if I felt these players, you know, were all of the same ilk in terms of consistency with the Tierney's, the Partey's historically, the Gabriels, the Sakas and so on, then yeah, but at a push, that's 7 man out of a 25. You know, the last time our 2 teams played, El Nene, our YouTube account was literally clipping up YouTube videos of every touch the man's touched. You know, have you seen one of those videos since? Like, to get the point.
His last proper game with him and Thomas at Old Trafford, man.
This is it. There was talk of signing a new deal, and even Arteta was saying, "Hey, chill off," sort of thing. Like, even there's talk about Lacazette signing a new deal. I love Lacazette, but he is a hot and cold player, you know. Like, I don't know if you're going to still be the same Lacazette when you sign this deal. Like you've seen with Willian playing for a contract at Chelsea, some man will look at Aubameyang. So I'm not too sure, but it'll be disappointing if we don't get top 4, because again, it will tell me that you can't have a goal in mind, see it's there for the taking, ultimately see it to the end. You choked at some periods. It's a bit like under Emre, where we did all right. We got into like the last 8 games. Then as fast as Emre started moving in terms of playing Jenkinson and El Nene for no reason, we had it in our hands and let it slip, sort of thing. So it's down to the boys for me, bro.
Yeah. Now I'm with you. It's even like when I look at Oli and the top 4 today. When I look at the game 0-0 at Arsenal, can I take a lot of positives? I came on here and I was thinking, I don't want to come in and be negative, because we've drawn 0-0 away at Arsenal and it shouldn't be really a bad result. But I'm trying to look at the positives, and the fact that Ollie's been there 2 years in March. Like I said, his biggest credit and his biggest skill is his man management and getting players back aside and believing in them and getting the squad morale happy. But 2 years on, and what worries me is that the patterns of play. And like I feel with Arsenal, like I said in transition today, you had that where I think when you got the ball back to front, I could see what you lot were doing. Us, we had a lot of the ball, but what it is I'm Fernandes, right? And I get the ball from Fred. And he's kind of like stopping, looking left, looking right. It's like that half a second delay that there's no movement. I just think you've been coaching us 2 years. Like, we've got a good team. Like, you'd probably be more than happy to have quite a lot of Man United players, don't get me wrong. And I think if they went to Arsenal, like Martial or Fernandes, they'll be still putting up good numbers, because I think you have a strategic pattern of play. But I'm looking at us and I think, is Ollie going to be that guy who's going to take us to the next level? Or do we just get a coach that is going to be with him? Because today, that game was there for the taking. That wasn't the strongest Arsenal team. We create 2 chances and we draw the game 0-0. Like, I'm trying to see a positive, but I can't. And if there's any Man United fans watching now, please give me something that you feel that was a positive from today's game. Yes, Luke Shaw's on form. I think this is the best Luke Shaw we've had since he broke his leg when he signed, obviously, from Southampton, which was a sad injury. Rashford was poor today. Cavani missed 2 big chances. Martial's going for a hit and miss. And Bruno's not turning up, I would say, or putting in the numbers that he's been doing against the bottom 12 side. So I come on here and I'm looking for positives, but we've drawn 0-0 to Arsenal and a weakened Arsenal side. Should I be happy? Like, Do you know what I mean? If you was United, do you think I should be happy?
No, do you know what? Probably not. The way you put it, I can't say I would be happy. The only positive we didn't lose in it. It could have got gazy for guys,
and a clean sheet.
Yeah, and I do you know what I'd say? You asked me a good question, because I'd say the main thing for me, if I was in your shoes, would be, regardless of the result, was there a reaction? And I watched the Sheffield United game, and I think there was, but I wouldn't say this. I immediately saw a team that wanted to win again. Yeah. That's what I would say. So no, probably not. I wouldn't be happy. I'd probably, now that you say it, United fans probably should be vexed than us. Now that you say it, I thought it was a bit more equal until you mentioned that. But yeah, bro, I can't disagree.
And that's the thing. Sheffield United, if you put it on paper, Sheffield United and Arsenal, you're probably thinking minimum 4 points. We've got one. We've got 1 from 6. No, 1 from 6. Yeah, we lost to Sheffield United. And to me, we've ended the month bad, man. Like the season turned on its head in the space of 2 results, and that just shows how small the margins can be when you've got a team like Man City breathing down your neck. That like all of a sudden we feel a bit deflated, and it's not because. And let me put this into perspective, people. Like, I'm not a fan that I thought at the beginning of the season we're going to be competing for the title. No way. When you get yourself there after 19 games, you've earned your way to get there. Whether you're winning 1-0s or grinding out 2-1s, you're not playing well. It's a result. I don't care. We've got the results. We've got the 3 points secured. But if someone said to me, okay, you're going to get to 19 games in, and then you're going to play Sheffield United at home and lose, and then Arsenal and draw, like, to me, that's a failure, because you do the hardest part and get into that position, and then you blow
through, man.
And then you blow it against Sheffield United, and then go in, and then and what it is that we could have won against Sheffield United and maybe took a draw today. The fact we lost against Sheffield United means we come in today knowing we had to win. And to me, 19 games, you do the hard part. I said on Never a Foul last week, and I said, I'm not going to get gassed. But if we beat Sheffield United and beat Arsenal, that's 6 points. Then what? That's 22 games gone, 21 games. It turns into it. Forget everything else. It just turns into a 17-game shootout. Just try and win them games. But we've thrown it away in 2 big games this week. And Sheffield United shouldn't be a big game, but it was, man. It's a poor result, and it's transitioned into today. Did I see the reaction? I saw a 5 out of 10 reaction. I saw parts of the game where we had a reaction. The rest of it, they weren't bothered, man.
Damning statistics, man. Damning verdicts. I can't add anything to what you said, man. That's a madness. Big up for the super chat, man. What have you said, my dude? You said Partey lost the ball too much today. Wholeheartedly agree. I think that's where his problems were. I think defensively he did his thing. Partey was just getting caught in possession, struggling with 5-yard passes. You said you thought Xhaka was good today. I think he was all right, 6 or so out of 10. You've also said, think this competition between the players is showing the benefits. I think that should be for everybody, you know. Like I said, mainly when I think of competition, ironically, the direct bias at Arsenal is to the wings, because that's where I see the most, man, and obviously less opportunities. Obviously, you've got a striker in Aubameyang playing there, which complicates matters. But this is good, you know. If you've got Xhaka playing well, Partey playing well, then
today. Sorry.
He's not in the squad. He's not in the squad. I know he's been last couple of weeks. He's been carrying certain knocks and niggles and all of those sort of things. So he was nothing. He was nothing to be there. It's mad because ironically, my first bias in terms of partnerships would be Ceballos and Partey, because I think that offers the biggest blend. But based on what I'm seeing as a fan right now, I think it used to be El Nene and Partey. I think Xhaka and Partey, they complement each other well, to be fair. And this guy was right. Love for your super chat. Xhaka was better than Partey, I guess you're alluding to. And Xhaka was half decent today. But the thing with Xhaka, he's got these performances, you know. He's been performing well against United when we've won. He's been performing well against Chelsea. It's the in-between.
Though, man. I think he's even captain of Switzerland, if I'm right.
This is it, yeah. Like, Xhaka at best is a squad player, man. We have to be real with ourselves. He's not dynamic enough. I do think he gets a bad rep, and he's one of those players people don't hail up. But, you know, I actually like him, but he's just too hot and cold, you know. I actually like him. I love Lacazette. I love Pepe. He's doing well today. Maitland-Niles, all these guys. But historically, these players are hot and cold. They will bad up one game, and then it's the next game they're moving iffy. So this is why when you also ask me questions like, oh, can you grab top 4? It's like, when I look at my 25-man squad, I don't see too many man. It's not that I don't think anyone wants it, because I think they do. But I only see a couple man that really get this win, lose, or draw. They understand what this thing is about. And until I can say that about 25, man, it's a myth, ain't it, bro? Like, surely.
What do you do then? Looking ahead to Wolves, like positive is what did Soup say? Sorry, there. Positive is Shaw bags another good game. No, bang on right with Luke Shaw, man. He's flying at the moment, and I'm gonna say he's the best English left back right now. Ben Chilwell number 2 right now. That's what I think. But yeah, clean sheet and not losing. For Arsenal, you're going to Wolves away. You won there last year. Saka scored. I remember that nice little volley actually. Going into that game, I think they've lost again to Crystal Palace today. They're not in good form right now. They're not scoring goals right now.
They're not. It's not the one that beat us, that smacked us. It's for sure. It's not that one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think you could go there and I think you can get the win. Would you see what changes would you make? And now I'm asking this probably as Arsenal fans probably might be in the comments. What changes would you make for your game against Wolves? Because I expect you to get 3 points the way they're playing right now. But you know what? Under the floodlights, a game could be a different story in it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
like you said, bro. Like you said, for me, I'm looking at it a bit like the Man United when we beat you lot, in the sense of we're playing Wolves now. We know what happened at home. Go and put it right. I still look at Wolves as that side. So for me to see that form is almost irrelevant. It's something to consider, but it's irrelevant. And typically, Arsenal fans will all agree, like 9 times out of 10, like that's why I thought Martial was going to score today. We got this thing where man might not be scoring or doing anything. You play us, we get it going.
Yeah.
In terms of changes, maybe start Odegaard, because, you know, Smith Rowe seems to be kind of struggling fitness-wise. I'd say that. Obviously, if Tierney's fit, Aubameyang's fit, they kind of walk back into the team for me personally.
You've got Aubameyang for Martinelli, Tierney for Cedric. And Odegaard for Smith Rowe.
No. Cedric move over to right back. Bellerin.
Okay. Yeah, you've got him as number 1 ahead of Bellerin at the moment.
Yeah, and then Tierney obviously resumes service. Goes on the left. Goes on the right. I think Pepe probably go on the left based on right now. I think Martinelli's a bad boy, but he needs to, show his stuff. Lacazette plays up front. So in terms of changes, apart from Cedric moving over and reintegrating, it's more or less business as usual. The one probably unorthodox one would probably be Odegaard. And I'm always wary with Partey, because it seems that we're in true Arsenal fashion. When a man signs for Arsenal, he's got injury issues. Yeah. So I'm wary of will Partey. On one hand, we can't, because we need to keep winning. Will Partey be kind of taken out the side? Ceballos might be
3 games in a row. I think he started today, innit? That's 3 league games in a row now.
Yeah. He's had a terrible time. It's like what Wenger used to say. It's almost, he is actually a new signing for us now, like a new sign, because he's not been about. And that's what I was saying earlier about squad being a squad game, and why I want another number 6 and things like that. Because as much as I love Partey, we shouldn't drop off to obviously he's a quality player. You will see his absence, but we shouldn't drop to a certain level. Better yet, when some men are not involved. That's
to me, that probably lead us into a next topic, because I think you've literally hit a nail on the head. When you take out one player from a side, you should not be seeing a significant drop off.
This is what I'm talking about, man.
All right, never a fast, my boy on the account.
Big up, man.
Yeah, big up, man. Thank you, people. Yeah,
click on the user URL and make sure you follow, man. It's in the live chat, so there's no having to find the link anymore. You can see it. Never a foul podcast. But go on, my bro.
Thank you. Like with the Arsenal and like teams around the top 4, you just nailed it. Like if you take Thomas Partey out, do you see a significant drop? I don't want to say yes, we do, because I feel like because he's been so in and out of the side, we're yet to see it. But once he's played 8 games and maybe he misses 2, we're gonna be like, raw, they look so different.
No, I think we have, even from that. That's how poor our midfield is.
That shows you, that's basics. That shows you that you do need to improve, because one player should not change a team that much.
And that's the problem. And that's the thing for me, where I think it goes back to a squad game, because I do think players should stand up to be counted. But it really does make me uneasy looking at our central midfield targets, because I do think Xhaka's still going to be here, but everyone forgets like a year or so ago, like he wanted to leave. What happens when the next bust up happens? Ceballos isn't here. He's not our player, so I can't really plan around him. We haven't got another.
You lot, do you know? I think we 6 for you lot.
Here,
Telemans, Yuri Telemans.
Yeah. But there's some signings you got to do time ago, bro. Like that's all 50, 60 million now. That's a myth for us. That's the ones you got to grab him when he's at Anderlecht first season at Leicester, man. Personally,
who would you, if you've got anyone like say realistic from the Bundesliga or someone in France or anything, you're looking at someone you as a person preference would be like, let's go for them.
It's difficult off the top of my head, to be fair with you, but I'll go with the typical one. I want Aouar. It's not going to happen, but I want it. Arsenal, we've got this historical French ties. He's a player I love. I don't think we need a 10, like Smith Rowe's doing that, but we need 8s that want the ball. And it wasn't highlighted against you lot, but we struggle to break down low blocks. I just want a player that will want the ball in the final third and try to break people down. I see too much sideward stuff. I would like another number 6. There's plenty of 6s, like my man is saying here. That would be a good option. I just want a 6 and an 8, really and truly. But I don't know, because if they only said 1, would I want a 6 or an 8? I'd say an 8, because I think I kind of feel with Smith Rowe's emergence, I still want more creativity, but with that traditional 10, the burdens is kind of clear. I would want to see Torreira goes though, because I wanted to keep Torreira with Partey for that very reason.
About a bit of that tenacity in there, a bit like how Fred does our thing today. You just need someone that's going to run around. And
someone that's just on the scraps.
Yeah, on the scraps. Basuma's a good little shout, actually. I think he's flourished this year, but people are getting sort of misconstrued that he's a defensive midfielder. Let me put it out there, people. He's not a defensive midfielder. This guy likes getting on the ball. He's a ball player. He likes traveling with the ball and beating a couple man and spraying a pass. Like, I think people are saying, like, even he was linked with United, and I was like, he's not a defensive midfielder. Like, someone like Ndidi is what you call a defensive midfielder. But if you're saying to me you want a 6 and an 8, and I know, yes, that's partly for squad depth because you've got Ceballos and you've got Xhaka at the moment. But would you say, obviously, you play a 4-2-3-1, or sometimes you play a 4-3-3? So say, for example, we say Arsenal tomorrow are lining up in a 4-3-3. For you to be a happy Arsenal fan, do you feel like you've only got one of them 3-man midfielders? So Thomas Partey is that guy right now who's your best midfielder. So he plays in any midfielder, a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. But if you were playing a 4-3-3, are you only satisfied with one of your midfielders right now? So you would want two?
Two of the three, purely because if Partey's a bit cool, you said 4-3-3. So assuming it's with a cam, Smith Rowe's got that. If it's a flat midfield, it's a different story, which we need 2 8s. But if it's with a 10, Smith Rowe's got that. You know, again, depth is another story, but Smith Rowe's got that, Partey's got that. And then that's where the grey area is for me, that partner with Partey. That's where the issue is. So that's
would be perfect for that then, I think, in a nice little combination. And I think you've got a bit of everything there, because Thomas can be a destructor, man. He's a better ball player than Ndidi, but the way he goes around the pitch, the way they move is exactly similar. Guided, confident on the ball, strong, a bit like Moussa Dembele when he was at Spurs. They don't lose the ball in tight areas. So I think you've got something to work with. I'm just interested that you feel like Smith Rowe is the long-term option.
No, that's why I said depth becomes a thing, because I do think Smith Rowe can be the long-term option, but I'm wary that this man is just 20, you know, might have any. I think regardless, I don't care if you're Partey or Smith Rowe. I just think we need squad depth. Like, I'm on the City thing, like Pep. He's got too many bodies in it. I want bodies. Like, I don't want creativity to be on one man, defensive to be on one man. So I need depth. And I just feel 38 games, Arsenal's record, 38 Premier League games, typically in the Europa League, typically trying to get through in the FA Cup. Obviously, we don't really win the League Cup, but you want to get through to the latter stages. That's a lot of football. And I just feel there's not a lot of variety. We might be playing low blocks where you could get away with maybe Smith Rowe there, Odegaard as a partner for Partey. If we're playing against you, man, like, let's go back to the last game where we expected, you know, Pogba, all these guys to do their thing. We can't beat them for technicality. Let's run more than them. Then you need a El Nene and a Torreira. But
horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. I don't think there's enough complements. Like, you know, we ain't got enough ingredients. Everyone's a bit too similar. Or everyone apart from Partey, actual centre midfielders, depending on who you ask, it's what are they? You know, some man will say Xhaka's a deep line playmaker. Some man will say he's box to box. Clearly not levels. You know, Joe Willock, we don't know what it is. Ceballos, is he a 10? Is he a 8? We don't know what he is. I think Partey is the only guy, definite, you know what he is. He's primarily a 6, win the ball. Obviously, he's got more technical abilities and will try and pass the ball forward. I don't think we have enough, I guess I'm saying, specialists at Arsenal. It's too much, too vague, really and truly.
It's funny, actually, because I forgot that we're both in the Europa League, and that's a trophy that we both could get quite deep in, you know. Like,
probably, I don't think we're going far, but hopefully.
Do you see yourself rotating, and do you want to see yourself taking it quite serious, or just because I think me personally as Man United, I think we've got quite a lot of squad depth that it's a trophy that we could win. I think who is it? United, you lot, and Spurs are in it as well, aren't they?
Spurs are in it. And you've got a couple of other top European clubs. Leicester still in it.
And the English teams. You've got 4 good English teams there. I think it's a competition that we could win. I see us maybe playing a weakened side until the quarterfinals. But would you like to see yourselves going for that, because that's a chance of silverware?
Bro,
European silverware, should we say?
Bro, we have to, because I do think it's looking rosy for Arsenal, like you said, league and that. But I look at it's not to be pessimistic; it's with balance. We all know what Europe does for Arsenal in terms of finances. Any sort of Europe, you saw how ecstatic the board were for winning the FA Cup. Was that for the cup or for the thing it gives you? Now we're out of the FA Cup. I don't know how the League Cup works, but we're out of the 2 cups, so getting it via that is out of order. Mathematically, it looks like we can obviously win the Premier League. You can mathematically, but yeah, punching in it, mad punching, qualify for the top 4. Obviously, it can be done mathematically, but me, I don't think it can be done. So we have to take the Europa League
I
seriously.
really think we do. I would have you if you said no, because I think with top four, like you said, it's not a formality right now. At the end of the day, you're kind of wanting to win games, but you're relying on others dropping points.
That's it.
Got Benfica, a tough tie, but if you beat Benfica, why can't you go on and beat the other side?
I've seen my club get to the final. Like, I ain't seen them win it, but I've seen my club get to the final, so I know we can. But once again, it's about the bottle. It's about the mentality, because I feel, you know, we look at that season where we got Europa League and we were in the talk of the top four. I think the players are to blame for. I think Emre's to blame for the top four. I think the players are to blame for the final. The mentality of a final isn't there. Emre tried too much in that league, in the last run. Obviously, the players have a part to play, and likewise, Emre has a part to play in the final. But I look at it. Some of you players have been around this block several times, and there's been different managers, different teammates. You know, you need to learn for yourself. You know, for me, it would make me sick to consistently be in this situation as an Arsenal footballer, missing out on top four, seeing the papers, seeing how they question you as a man. They're saying you don't care about your profession, you don't give your all to your craft. And obviously, we're harsh on footballers. I'm sure you are the same, and we know that's not necessarily true, sort of thing. Like, even young players, certain man probably saying Martial isn't trying to finish and stuff like that. He's probably airing week in, week out. So yeah, I think it comes down to us, bro. Man are saying like this, I think we should focus on the top four. I don't think we can afford to say we ain't got the squad to say we're focused on anything. Of course, at one stage you might have to do the either or thing. There might be 2 games in a week. You have to play a different sort of lineup, but we know, listen, it don't matter if you're Arsenal or whatever, you know, you go into a season to try and compete for multiple honours or achievements. The squad has to be used, and this is why I say it's depth.
We've played Sunday League ourselves, and I don't care. I never took any game lightly, whether it was the League Cup, we used to play the County Cup. I wanted to win every game, because at the end of the day, they're all there to be won. And the thing is about individuals and teams, no matter if you're rotating and you have a good squad depth, you're winning together. It doesn't matter if it's Europa League, FA Cup, or the Premier League. Literally, as long as you're lifting something at the end of the season, it's a team thing and you're winning together. I don't care if Aubameyang has to rest and Saka comes in and scores the 89th minute winner against Legia Warsaw in the quarterfinals.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you want to win trophies and you're there. So I don't like this thing about, like, even like Jurgen Klopp, I don't want to get onto Klopp, because it's another story. But when he was, I think, since he's been in charge, Liverpool have not got through the FA Cup 5th round since he's been in charge.
Oh, he don't care about that, man.
But yeah, exactly. But as a player, I want to win the FA Cup, man. So I see your point, and I love your angle that at the end of the day, FA Cup, Europa League, challenging for the top 4, go for it all. And if you have to rotate because there's 2 games in a week, then you've got to do that. I see you got a question there about would you you'd give Luiz a year extension. I don't know how old he is, but I'll let you answer. But on me, I think it's, I feel like he's been in the Premier League for too long now. I think just freshen things up. You've got Gabriel and you've got Holden. You've got people that are young, hungry, they're determined, and they're probably going to give you a bit that more team spirit. But I wouldn't be giving them a year extension. I think just say see what you can do this year. And I think that's his boat done, man. He's settling out.
Bro, you said it all there. I'm not here for the sentiment thing. Like, Luiz has been what we know with Luiz. I don't think he's been, out of all these Chelsea rejects, he's probably been the best one, really, off the top of my head. Like, I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's doing what we know. I think he's shown he's good in patches, but he's just one of them, man. When push comes to shove, I know what you're on, and 9 times out of 10, like these last 2 games, it's 2 different Luizes. Boston today, appalling against Southampton. I can't keep going with that. And for me, what
that when you're trying to grow, man.
Yeah, you can't, fam. That's just gonna stop you. And for me as well, I'm not the age guy. I don't think it's an age thing all the time. But we rely on players that might not be here tomorrow. Aubameyang he's clearly just here for the present, but he's central to our plans. When fit, he plays. He's our captain, etc. You've got Luiz. You need to move away from these guys. And Luiz is an Aubameyang. You must be able to. Even this season, Gabriel's out the team, but he's done all right. Marie's done all right. Holden's done all right. Look to move away from David Luiz. I actually like David Luiz as well for his mentality and stuff like that, because I've been at games where I'm seeing before with lockdown where players are scared and stuff like that, and you can see mentally they're hiding, and I can see him sticking it on, man. But realistically, no, that's a sentiment thing. Like, there's no logical reason beyond that. And even we heard that Luiz, not that I care, can be a disruptive figure, and there was beef with Arteta and things like that. You got to get rid of them, man, there. With that, he's not going to help us long term. He's here for now. Do your thing for now. Keep it moving. Simple as that. Just cut.
Yeah, I totally agree. Any final things you want to ask me at all, or any last few comments? I've got a nice Turkish rating as well, by the way, but I can't even lie. I've actually proper enjoyed being on as well, man. This is sick.
Come on, my guy, man. Get your last questions in.
I'm looking at my phone, but I can see like people messaging saying this is live, so.
Big up all the people there, man. Plug your podcast as well, man. Keep plugging.
Yeah, man. At Never a Foul as well, so you can get that on. Yeah, you can see it there. At Never a Foul on all platforms. That's Instagram, Twitter, and obviously YouTube. And then actually today, which is funny enough, we've got me on. We actually launched our first Arsenal channel today, which is called The Arsenal Way. So if you go on,
go and take that in, Arsenal fans, man.
Yeah, man. I actually try and chat to them, man, and get you on for an episode with them, man. That'd be good.
That'd be sweet.
Arsenal Way, we've got Man City launching next week, Spurs launching next week, and then we've got a United one, which I've just started, which is Trafford Tunnel. So yeah, mainly at Never a Foul, and you can find us everything there, man.
Calm. People, any more questions? Someone get one more question in. You know we don't like to leave you. In fact, this is a half. In fact, no, that's for me. That's Arsenal in relation to top four. Thought that was a United one.
Well, what's on the menu? Anyway, I want to ask you, what's on the menu for dinner tonight, man, after a draw anyway?
Bro, I don't even know if I might just order some jerk chicken and rice still.
Yeah. You can't complain with that, man.
I completely forgot about dinner. I can't lie. Cook shit. It's a delivery.
I didn't even realize soon touching 10 o'clock as well. Mad, isn't it?
We got some virgin here on some spamming thing. Relax, fam. But anyways, last question, my guy. Who is United's player of the season for you apart from Bruno? If it was going to be Bruno, he assumes.
Yeah, do you know what? Now I'm not going apart from Bruno. Right now, I'm actually gonna go Luke Shaw, but I know it sounds. I'm gonna say Luke Shaw right now because I think since there's a lot of things right now he's playing really well and he's consistent and he's not getting injured. So them three things alone is what I want from any player: playing consistently, not getting injured, and putting in 8 out of 10s even when you're not winning games, which he's doing. But most importantly, I think the fact that when you sign a lot of players or you sign some players that can be in your position, for example, Alex Telles has come in. It can have a different effect on people. And Luke Shaw's been in the club a long time now. He's gone through stages where he's been in and out of the side. We've had Rojo come in. We've had Daily Blind. It's not been plain sailing for him. So again, when Alex Telles come in, which a lot of fans are screaming for, I think, thank you very much, Rasheen, man. Thank you. I think the fact that mentally he's had an injury, Ollie's given him the man management, and then also Tellers has come in. The fact that he's actually just been like, you know what, I'm going to use this as a drive to kick on. And he actually has. I haven't seen him drop a bad game since Tellers.
You ever feel sorry for yourself where you pattern up and he's patterned up?
Yeah, like he could have sulked. He could have been like, nah, man, like, they don't really rate me. Ollie's giving me all this talk, and now he's signing up a left back. In fact, he said, you know what, I'm going to show you that I'm number one. And I think credit to him. And also an unseen, obviously, characteristic is that he don't play every game. But I'm telling you now, Eric Bailly, for me, I had to say this before I end the podcast. I'm glad they asked. He's a monster. Forget him in terms of player of the season, but in terms of centre backs in the league, Eric Bailly is top 5 centre backs for me in the league. I was a bit disappointed for me that he was left out today, but every time he plays, he's intimidating. He's strong. He's quick. He travels with the ball. He's a ball carrier. He's got everything that a modern centre back would want and need at a club. So I think if we keep him fit, and, you know, he can start playing more regularly. I know he rotates with Lindelof and that. I think, you know what, him and Maguire together, they complement each other, man, because you can't substitute pace. I'm a fan of you, like pace. I like pace, man. And I think when you've got strength and pace like that, if Eric Bailly can keep fit and stay well, I think we've got a brilliant centre-back there. And then that last one there, what do you think about Bruno in these big games? Bruno, it's funny because I don't like to do stats, but his numbers are incredible. He came in, and did I expect him to have this impact when he came in? The honest answer is no, I didn't. A lot of players that come in from foreign leagues, I'm not going to say they don't play, they don't kick off from the start, but a lot of them, they're probably second season syndromes. I say the first season getting into the league, and the fact that he's come in and he's just hit it from the ground running is great. But I think what goes under the radar for Bruno is that he's not been injured once, I can remember off the top of my head in the year. And when you come from the Portuguese league to the Premier League, everyone says it. Timo Werner played Brighton in his first game and said, raw, I've never played anything like this. Yeah.
Pepe said it was a culture shock. Sane said it was a culture shock.
Exactly. And when you're coming in and you're that robust to play every 3 days, not get no injuries, and the physicality adapts so quick, credit to Bruno. I think where he can improve in the big games is, I think there's 2 things he does wrong. One, he presses erratically. So when we have him on the ball, like he presses on his ones and things.
And that can be counterproductive.
Yeah, it's not like a Salamane Firmino thing where they all press together. Like if you've just got Bruno pressing on his ones, all he's doing is leaving a hole for you, man, to pick up the ball in the number 6 role, and then you're running at our midfield. So I think if he could change the way basically, if he can become smarter in the way he plays the game, his productivity in the big game.
Yeah,
because I think what he's doing in the big games is he's actually thinking on telly, it looks good. Oh, look at Bruno, he's pressing, he's doing all this. But when you actually look at it, is it productive for the team? No, it's actually causing us more of a problem. So I think Ollie and that need to say to him, the thing is, can Ollie and that do it? Are they powerful enough to say, Bruno, come in for a chat? Look at this, like you're pressing a bit erratically. I know you're running around and you're trying to do for the best for the team, but maybe just be smarter and calm down.
Find some balance when you do it.
Yeah, not play the Hollywood pass all the time. Just manage what you do. Be a bit more smarter, and I think the productivity goes up. So it's about him taking him looking at himself and saying, do you know what? I need to just calm down a bit. And I think them numbers improve in the top 6 games.
And I think that's true as well. I just think when I look at Bruno, I see someone who's still kind of a young midfielder, and I'd say he does show immaturity. I think he's a terrific player. He's joined mid-season and he's doing a madness. Hearing him, his mentality is spot on. 2 underrated aspects. So
100.
Yeah, bro, it's right there. I just feel, like you said, I feel sometimes he presses erratically. I think sometimes he forces that pass to the fact of where people say he's trying, it's counterproductive. And when I compare him,
I'm glad you see it from that side as well.
Like I'm sure like he's a bit of a different midfielder, but you know, I'm sure he wants to be mentioned with like a Modric and all of these sort of players. Forget where your specific role in midfield is. They do the best midfielders see the game before it's happened. They do things in less touches. And as much as I like Bruno, again, I'm not a United fan, so I'm not preing it. It's a bit like that Dele Alli thing for me, in that, you know, it's kind of hard for me as a non-United fan to find a good game where he hasn't scored or assisted. I know he's known for that, but I need to see what you bring to the table without that. And I might be being a bit harsh, but that's just something I look at. I like him though, man. I really think
that's a perfect way to sum it up as well. And I think I'm glad that you see it from that side as well, like the pressing side. There's little things that people that make a game of football and make a team tick. And when you're pressing on your runs and leaving that sort of space where you're being a bit erratic, trying to get rid of the ball straight away instead of playing a nice pass out to the wing or getting someone in, them little things are just, they're sort of, man, like again, like they're just frustrating. And I think once them frustrations then become basic things you're doing on a normal, your whole game goes up. But whether he sees that or not, the question for me is, will that ever change, or is this just part of his? Is this just him? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do think it's him, because at the end of the day, to a degree, you have to just take man for what they are. Maybe this is just him, and you got to guard against it, really and truly.
Yeah, like Mark said it, obviously the one you know from London. Big up Mark as well. He comes on the Trafford Tunnel, but it's like, do you just accept that you're gonna have for him to get the goals and assists and have an impact? Are you gonna just have to allow him to do that? And sometimes it just affects your game. And
at some level, it has to become that with footballers. Yeah, man. It has to. It's like it's a bit like Aubameyang. You know, he's never going to be the guy in terms of hold-up play and stuff like that. So you have to take that.
When he goes, but then you just
sometimes you just have to take a man for what he is. I think it's a healthy debate, and everyone's right in saying you should do other things. But I just think in football, especially nowadays, in potential and multiple roles and stuff, sometimes we just don't take a man for what they are. Sometimes. This is just him. Like, I actually don't think that's the case. I do think he can mature and find balance and the penny will drop. But you might have to just concede that and say, okay, cool, we need 2 runners, 2 spot-on midfielders behind him, or someone that can do a bit more of what we require, and then Bruno's just going to have to do that. He's not Aaron Ramsey, but it became a bit like Aaron Ramsey in that you just have to take him for what he is. Stop making
you know that they've got that bit of him to produce something in the game. If it's going to get you 3 points, it's going to get you 3 points. But on that note,
man.
On that note, none of us got 3 points.
None of us got 3 points today. I've been happy having you here, man. But I keep asking you to do this before we bust out. Plug your stuff again, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. So it's at Never a Foul on all platforms. That's all one word as well. So just Never a Foul. I don't know how I even got the name for that. It weren't taken, to be fair. But yeah, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and we've got channels as well for Man United, Arsenal, Spurs, and Man City. The Arsenal one for the people, obviously, with Deluded Gooner. It's called The Arsenal Way. So that only launched today, so there's going to be a lot more to come on that. But yeah, for Deluded as well, I want to just say thank you ever so much for having me on. And I think, do you know what, this show, even though I've been doing this a little while as well, I actually feel like this show was wicked, man. Like, it's good chatting about football, like on a proper detailed level. So now everyone like and subscribe to Deluded stuff, man, every time. And I think we'll have to do something again. Obviously,
definitely, man. The people, and you seen the comments, the people them loving you, man. They love you.
Man,
love you.
You know what?